I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. The House Judiciary Committee held a markup Thursday on gun control legislation. The emergency meeting comes as a string of recent mass shootings have gripped the nation. Congressman Thomas Massie insisted that in the course of the meeting, Republicans were performing, quote, triage, trying to save the Constitution. Republicans have rebuffed calls from Democrats for stricter gun reform in the reignited gun control debate. Take a listen in for more from the Kentucky Republican.
I wish to speak on the amendment.
Gentleman is recognized.
I'd like to just summarize what we're doing here today and what's gone on, because this is the last amendment to a series of 6 bills. Republicans, through the course of 8 or 9 or 10 amendments here, we've done triage, trying to save the Constitution in the face of 6 bills that exhibit callous and wanton disregard for the Constitution, but also callous disregard for the safety of American citizens. What have we seen today throughout these amendments? Well, Republicans tried to defend due process. Democrats said no thanks. Republicans tried to establish what the Supreme Court has already established, that this is an individual right to keep and bear arms. Democrats, they don't even want people who need guns, who could use guns for their self-protection, to have them. They just don't want any guns anywhere. They would like to repeal the Second Amendment. We've tried to protect the rights of domestic violence victims, not just their rights to defend themselves, but their right not to be prosecuted for gun trafficking, for merely trying to obtain the means of self-defense. We've tried to protect the rights of military families in an amendment that would keep these bills from affecting a spouse at home while a military member is deployed from being able to defend herself. We've tried to protect draft-age adults. We've heard them be insulted here, that their brains aren't fully developed. But yet we need them. We need to be able to conscript them into service our country, to defend a Constitution that's being shredded here today and whose rights they will not be able to enjoy, because although some here have decided their brains aren't fully formed, they've decided they can go fight for us. We've tried all of these things, but what's the one thing we haven't done? We have not talked about what would really fix this problem. What could we do to solve this problem? Look, the depraved individuals, by the way, we're having this hearing presumably as a knee-jerk reaction to shootings that have recently happened. But what are these depraved individuals, what's going through their minds? Is a safe storage act going to change, whether they carry this out or not? No, a lot of them use straw purchasers. A lot of them steal their guns. We're not going to be able to keep them from getting guns, but what's going through their heads? They don't care to die. Once you've decided you don't care to die, you don't care about any of the laws you're going to break. You're going to violate all of them. What do they want? They have some distorted, grotesque image of what would make them famous.
Will the gentleman yield?
No, I will not. If they could go rack up a body count on a soft target, they even pick elementary schools instead of picking junior highs or high schools, because there's likely not a resource officer there. We need to deprive them of that. They are copycats. They see this in the news, and that's what they seek to do. How do you keep them from that? There should be no honor. There should only be shame. They should be met with certain and unceremonious death if they target our children. Instead of advertising our children as soft targets, where nobody in that institution, not even qualified individuals, can carry a firearm to protect these kids. Sane adults should be able to protect kids from insane individuals. If we had this sign instead at the schools, attention, all of this, please be aware that the staff are armed and may use whatever force necessary to protect our students. If that were the sign, which do you think the shooter is going to choose? Which of these 2 schools? Which of the 2 signs? You don't have to guess. The data is in. Every school that displays this sign, none of them have ever had a shooting. And here we are 32 years later since the first knee-jerk reaction, the 1990 Gun-Free School Zone Act, which was going to keep guns out of schools. It hasn't prevented a single shooting ever, and it has caused loss of life of students, young students, and teachers. And I will yield to my friend from Florida.
We only have a few seconds, but to just address this concept of rapid due process. Right. You know, like when we call for rapid due process at the border, you tell us that that can't happen at all. Yeah. But then you want rapid due process to take guns away from Americans? Like, I don't think the American people really understood the bargain they were getting when they voted for Democrats and figured out they would have a party in power that would take guns away from the American people and then ship an endless supply of guns to Ukraine. Yield back.
The time of the gentleman has expired. For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia seek recognition?
Move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr.